invite our keynote speaker for the day, that would be Mr. Ranganath Sadashiva, who is the CTO at HPE. Giving a brief introduction, he carries more than 28 plus years of experience in the technology industry. Ranganath is an accomplished technologist and management executive specializing in various ICT technologies with a predominant focus on India, Asia Pacific and Japan region. With this, let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
So welcome to this world, and a great opportunity for me to speak and share some of the viewpoints around data center and data center trends. It's been a busy day, busy year, I would say, when it comes to infrastructure and data center build and stuff like that. As Vasant just earlier spoke, we are at the cusp of actually delivering a lot more in this space, and truly data centers are unsung heroes in the context of whatever we do today. With that said, as part of really sharing what information we see from a market perspective, what's the sentiments, I wanted to capture a couple of insights and share that with you so that you get to know what's really happening in a market perspective. What are your peers saying? What are the other industry folks saying? What's your global counterparts really saying? So with that, the first thing is a shift that I recognize, a shift that you should also recognize, right? The biggest shift I see has been in the past, right? If you were to take about the last decade or so, the biggest buzzword used to be digital transformation, right? But if you were to look at digital transformation itself, it's been around for almost 15 years. There's been version 1, version 2, version 3 and stuff like that. And moving ahead, that's going to move into what we call as a digital era. Anybody would want to differentiate digital transformation to digital era here? Yeah. That's one way for sure. Anybody else who has a viewpoint on that? Yeah? Okay, I think that's the compulsion is the important part, right? If you were to look at digital transformation, it was your ability to look at what you have and transform that into a digital world. You were building capabilities around your product, solutions and services and digitally transforming that. Vis-a-vis an digital era where everything that you deliver is digital in nature. Your products are digital, your services are digital, right? That's the big transformation that we need to see, or that we are seeing today. It's not your ability to add wings, feathers and things to what you have, but to really recreate something that's very, very different. So that's a significant shift that I see in the marketplace. That calls for a lot of change internally. It is not about not only technology, it's your ability to rethink, your ability to get your people to rethink. It's a lot of things getting together in a single word called digital era, right? Next is where I call it as transformation, right? We spoke about the transformation. And the transformation I see is what we call as cloud experience, right? The way you go and buy today is very different from what you used to do about 5 years ago, right? You perhaps carried a bag, but now you're going to use your phone to get whatever you want. So there is an experience that's very, very different. And that is purely because of what happened in cloud technologies a decade ago, right? Yes, it's about a decade since cloud technologies have been here, and they're becoming very, very pervasive today. You want to have the benefits of cloud, whether it's speed, agility, scalability, performance, whatever way you look at cloud, right? You want that experience to be available across the board. The ground reality, however, is the fact that almost 60-65% of your business applications, etc., don't have that kind of feature functionality. They're stuck, they're grounded for various other reasons. But they definitely have an aspiration to be cloud-like. Right? So that's the cloud experience that I see as transformation. Leading up to new data center designs. If you want that cloud experience for every data and every application you need to have that experience fall through to various aspects of IT geography today. It could be the expanse of IT itself today, whether it is on the clouds, whether it is on-prem, whether it's on edge, whether it's a colo, whichever area you're looking at it. I think it's the responsibility of all organizations to look at delivering that experience wherever cloud and applications reside, right? Wherever data and applications reside. So I think that's the transformation that I see in whatever we do today. So you're seeing every application being developed in the context of thinking whether it's cloud ready, right? You're looking at every infrastructure that you procure, whether it's cloud ready. So that's the new designs that you need to work out, and that's going to be an evolving one. It's not one that's going to stay stagnant. It's an evolving one, right? So that's the transformation. So what's the ground reality? If you were to look at, the thing that I spoke of a digital era, the thing that I spoke of a cloud experience. The reality is decentralized cloud, right? Some of us who have spent some time in the industry would know that we are kind of going cyclical here. If you look at mainframes, that was a centralized version of deployment of everything, right, about 20 years ago. And then came, client-server architectures. We said, okay, let's change everything and let's kind of have things there. Then about a decade ago, you got into the public cloud environment and cloud-like environment, right, where you centralized again. Now you're saying, I want to decentralize stuff. So, that's the kind of thing that's emerging today. When you're looking at cloud deployments and you're looking at performance, and you're looking at availability and stuff like that, you need to think of what do you need to do next. And the reality is multi-cloud, I would say. Your ability to kind of look at your aspirations from an application perspective, your aspirations from a data perspective, your aspiration from a compliance perspective, all of this is qualified around an application that you have, around a workload that you have. And then you're saying, okay, let me put this workload here. Let me put this workload here, right? That's how you're determining your multi-cloud journey, and that's the landscape that I see. And if you were to look at all the geopolitical stuff that is happening, there needs to be a sense of Atmanirbharta as well. So that is also kind of filling in to say, let me have something here, let me have something there, and I'm catering to all kinds of risks and rewards that we have in the marketplace. So that's the ground reality today. So if you're looking at any deployment, I think you need to kind of put this into your design, right? And say, look, it could be a world like this. It could be something that I need to kind of figure out and figure out what the architectures are. A great sense that's prevailing in the marketplace today, any large customers with cloud maturity are all looking at this. You are looking at how do I redeploy, rebalance, all of those things are coming into the marketplace. So that's a happening activity at this point of time. So looking ahead, there is this conflicting goals and ESG put together. What do I mean by conflicting goals? There's a lot of technology sprawl today. Everyone are saying artificial intelligence is good. Everyone are saying generative AI is good. Everyone are saying virtual reality is good. Everyone are saying analytics is good. So there is this entire thing of things that you want to do. But what does that mean? It also means that you need more processing power, more data to be analyzed, right? So it means that there is an impact. If somebody says, I want to get an insight, you will have to analyze so much of data to get to that insight. Interestingly, if you generate about 100 terabytes of data, what goes into AI is just about 4 or 5%. And what insights you get is about a 1%, right? So you have to harness that much, and you have to do that very quickly as well. All of these insights is like, what should I call, like steam. If you don't get it and distill it, it's gone. So there is this time aspect as well that comes into play. So how do you manage all of this in the context of ESG goals becomes very, very important, right? And that I think is a big, big challenge today. How can you demonstrate a sustainability focus? How do I buy something that is good for the environment? How do I buy that is power efficient? How do I ensure that my data center is essentially getting transformed in the way that I'm using lesser power? The biggest unit of concern for every person in the globe today is not about the real estate. If you had to go to Tokyo and look at your data center, the biggest problem 5 years ago would have been real estate. Can I get real estate? But guess what it is replaced by now? Power. Can I give you the power that's needed? Right? We all speak of generative AI, large language models. The kind of power you need to generate or run those models, run the compute and storage behind is humongous. So, when you're generating that power, can I think of getting it from a source that is green? Can I think of alternate power sources? can I think of not using that much of power? You know, all of this is coming into play, and it's going to play a role in the data center. Your choice of data center builds, your choice of equipment, efficiency of equipment, etc., is all a factor of whether it is sustainable, whether it is green, whether it is being sourced from places which are sustainable, what is the carbon footprint. You know, all of you would have ESG goals of going carbon neutral and stuff like that. So that's going to be a big challenge, right? So it's not very prevalent, but it is there as a back burner issue. It's going to flare up anytime because questions are being asked around that. My last point is around the opportunity, right? You know, we are all here looking at what's the opportunity for tomorrow. And I think the opportunities are very bright, right? First is an investment increase. Even though if you look at data center builds that really went very high during the COVID times, you know, it went through a dip. There is a resurgence of all of that happening now, right? People are wanting to look predominantly because of the new tools that are available. You want more compute power, and you know, everything is kind of coming together, and there is opportunity around it. The second is technology has triumphed. You know, if you were to look at today's world, technology has really helped mankind change the way we live and work, right? I think it's helping you navigate yourself to this hotel. It's helping you really take a database decision. It's helping you in whatever facet that you're looking at, whether you're in a hospital, whether you're in a hotel, you know, irrespective of where it is. It has impacted, it's changed the way we live and work, right? There are certain books which essentially capture, when you speak to your elders, they would say, you know, our time was better, right? You can actually factfully go and say this time is much better, right? Using facts, you know, it could be in terms of how healthcare has increased, it could be in terms of how connected you are, it could be several factors. So, you know, it is, but you know, people call it eternal way of saying, you know, you see a Eastman color movie, it'll say our times were better. You see a black and white movie, they'll say our times are better. If you look at an HD movie, they say our times are better. So that's eternal truth. But technology has triumphed in a way that in fashion that's there. And that other biggest driver is IT and business today are going hand in hand, right? There aren't these facets, and the CIO is right in the center of all of that. So that's a huge change that we see for many IT's business. You know, banks like SBI say that, you know, where you know it is typically a banking organization. To that extent, there has been an integration of IT and business together. So that's a great opportunity. And frankly, it's a nice time to be a CIO today because you're a great orchestrator. Everyone listens to whatever you want to do. You've got the resources. Technology is doing the right things it has to do. So, you know, it's a time and effort well spent, I would say. Gone are the good old days where people really sweated their assets. They were looking for money. They didn't have skilled resources. Plethora of things that were there versus what a CIO is. You'll still be under the pump. You'll still have the pressure to do. But it's the right way to do. Every day spent here is getting you an equivalent of a year's experience of a previous CIO because things are changing so fast as well. So that's some of the observations that I had. My name is Ranganath Sadashiva, and I work for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I'm the Chief Technology Officer there. It's been a privilege to actually speak to you and share some of what I see in the market space and what I feel are the go-to and look-to kind of topics that are here. Thank you very much.